Today I will compare the user behavior of the Snobsoft user in 1986 with 2024. The system logbook, which also provides me with data from almost 40 years ago, is perfectly suited for this. Are the differences really that big? Both in 1986 and today, the user is more or less staring at a screen with rapt attention. However, there are slight distractions today. Let me explain. Today's BBS user, for example, uses PuTTY to access Snobsoft. So far, so good. But why not pass the waiting time until this strange relic from the computer Stone Age has run its course by watching some YouTube videos? Kim Wilde, always good. Is the intro of Snobsoft not finished yet? What are the 10 Asian babes on Ibiza doing on sportivevideos.com? Delicious. Still not done? Well, I guess I'll keep looking around. Oops, I think I've been kicked out. I'll try again later. That was the video from the Chaos Computer Club that I wanted to watch.
Dann gibt es immer irgendwelche Leute, die diese Informationen versuchen zu Geld zu machen.
So I think you know what I mean now. Today's online users are like a cat in a toy store. As soon as they've seen one super interesting new thing, the next one after 2 minutes is even more interesting. And this behavior is actually reflected in a current excerpt from the Snobsoft system logbooks. In this sample between December 25th and 27th, 2024. How to read the system logbook in detail is explained in the BBS tour video. I will link it for you below the video. For our comparison, the third column from the right is important. There you'll find mostly zeros. These represent no postings within the corresponding user session. To the right of that, you'll find a column with 2-digit numbers. This represents the time the user spent in the system, essentially the cat's attention span. By the way, I borrowed this lovely comparison from my regular viewer, Hanno Behrens. Many thanks for that. As you can see, we have very small values there, mostly between 0 and 2 minutes. If there is a T for timeout following that, which is the last entry on the far right, then an external distraction for the user is very likely. Of course, the distracting sporty videos from this clip are just an example. This does not apply to Snobsoft users. Knick-knack Rasensport. At this point, at least Hanno knows what is meant. In this sample from 2024, you'll find very short visits from users, usually with no postings. The exceptions are Goodwell on the 25th and a guest on the 27th. Both left a post in section 4, which is general. As mentioned, that is the value in the third column from the right. Okay, then let's make a direct comparison with 1986. Now, on the far left of the image, we have the Snobsoft system logbook starting from September 3rd of that year. The gap after September 3rd is unusual, by the way. Just like the single visitor on the 6th. There were probably technical problems with the BBS in both cases. It is immediately noticeable that in 1986 there was significantly more posting activity and generally a much longer duration of stay in the system. Back then, we didn't have anything that could distract us much otherwise. Also, there was no alternative online besides the BBS due to the lack of the internet. And such extremely distracting attention magnets only existed in our imagination. Or with Lisa. Okay, where was I? Right, at the 1986 Snobsoft statistics. So in the 80s system logbook on the left, we can see the impressive number of postings in the third column from the right. Read from top to bottom. ENIAC2 posted in general. Ameisenbär sent an email. Same for Mollo. ANH sent an email and tried to call the sysop. And was even logged out after exceeding the maximum system time of 23 minutes, as I can see. And that's despite the very high telephone costs we had back then. That's what I call BBS enthusiasm. By the way, before I forget, all the mentioned old Snobsoft users can feel free to contact me. For example, if they've forgotten their old passwords, you can find my contact details on YouTube under channel info. MGR is as enthusiastic as ANH. He posted in the user group, tried to call the sysop and was similarly logged out of the BBS after exceeding the maximum system time. An interesting entry at the bottom is from Jagger. On September 9th, 1986, he managed to post in contacts in just 2 minutes of system time. This was probably also due to the high telephone costs back then. He was like the Goodwell of the 80s. The latter manages to do something similar 38 years later in at least 4 minutes, even without the pressure of telephone costs. Speaking of managing, let's go back to the year 2024. Our typical online user today still wants to look into Snobsoft without a timeout. It can't be that hard. Oh, there he is. But nothing's happening. Is he just thinking? Or is he perhaps briefly looking at another window on the desktop? For example, on YouTube. You still remember the cat in the toy store and all? I wonder what the attractive dog rescuer Loretta is doing in Los Angeles right now. Oh, there he is. Just in time before the timeout. But it takes forever again for the old BBS dinosaur to set everything up at the Slowpoke 300 baud speed. Well then, to bridge the waiting time, I wonder what Karina is up to alone in the forest again. That takes a while. Then just a quick bit of Doug DeMuro.
This is a 1994 Jaguar XJ220, and it is one of my all-time favorite cars.
Okay, that didn't go quite as planned. But maybe my interpretation of today's user behavior of the Snobsoft users is completely wrong. Why don't you guys add your 2 cents to the video in the comments? In defense of today's users, it should be said that on good days, things run really smoothly even in 2024. Take a look here. Okay, now on to the comments from the last videos. Thanks, Dursik. I need to stop by Computerzeit too. Yes, Peter. I'm glad that you are also a fan of beautiful Flacati rugs. The coder and former sysop of the Snobsoft BBS now lives in the USA. Über die sehr große Resonanz zu meinem Making-of-Snobsoft-Video habe ich mich besonders gefreut. Schreibt mir doch mal unter das Video, was ihr sonst noch gerne sehen würdet. Ich bin für alle Themenvorschläge offen. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen. Falls euch das Video gefallen hat, lasst mir ein Like bzw. Abo da. Und gerne auch einen Comment. teilt das Video bzw. empfehlt es weiter.
Yeah, the screen lights up, light it up. The lines are buzzing, it's the place to be. Dial in with the touch of time.